Out on the rolling hills of Tennessee, a quiet farmhouse rises in the morning light. Warm, grounded, and shaped by a life built far from political noise. This is where Pete Hegseth lives with his family, in a world defined by faith, duty, and the steady rhythm of the countryside. And today, you and I are stepping straight into that world to explore the farm, the routines, and the simple, patriotic lifestyle at the heart of it. Before the world knew his opinions, his uniform, or his voice on national television, there was a boy growing up in a quiet Minnesota town, shaped by family routines, cold mornings, and the kind of stillness that builds conviction long before a career ever does. Pete Hegseth was born on June 6, 1980 in Forest Lake, Minnesota, the middle son of Penny and Brian Hegseth. He grew up with two brothers, in a home where discipline felt natural and faith anchored the family. Those early years, simple and steady, planted the first seeds of the loyalty and patriotism that would follow him through every chapter of his life. At Princeton, the lens widens. A young Pete steps into bright campus hallways and basketball courts, splitting his time between studying, publishing a conservative student magazine, and trying to understand where he fit in a world much larger than Forest Lake. He graduated in 2003, carrying not just a degree, but a sharpened sense of purpose, a voice beginning to form, quietly but firmly. His first job at Bear Stearns felt promising but empty. The numbers were large, but the meaning was small. It was the kind of early career dissatisfaction that becomes a turning point in a documentary. Pete walked away and chose service instead, joining the Army National Guard, a decision that would transform both his life and the way he understood responsibility. Then, the scenes shift. Guantanamo in 2004, Iraq's dust-filled streets, the tension of Baghdad and Samarra. Pete served as an infantry platoon leader, later earning Bronze Stars, a combat infantryman badge, an expert infantryman badge, and campaign medals from Iraq and Afghanistan. These were years of risk, loss, and clarity. Experiences that hardened him, grounded him, and built the steady presence viewers would one day recognize on screen. Returning home brought its own struggle. He moved through think tanks, advocacy work, and even a 2012 Senate nomination attempt that never materialized. These professional stumbles felt like the dimmer part of a life story, moments where direction fades before sharpening again. That sharpening came slowly through media. Pete became a Fox News contributor in 2014, first appearing as a veteran-turned-commentator, then growing into a familiar on-air presence. Viewers connected with the directness, the patriotism, the lived experience behind his words. The platform expanded, and with it came the financial stability, recognition, and public influence he had once chased through more uncertain paths. Every stage of his life, the strict childhood, the deployments, the setbacks, and the rise in media, carved Pete into the person viewers know today. His voice, his convictions, and his influence all come from years of choosing duty over comfort. It is the steady result of a lifetime shaped by challenge, clarity, and persistence. And now, from the journey that shaped the man he is today, we step into his Tennessee farm, the place where Pete's rhythm, values, and character come through most clearly. Tennessee Farm, a rural estate, rooted in faith and tradition. Set against the muted hills of Goodlettsville, Tennessee, Pete Hegseth's farm unfolds like a portrait of rural American confidence. This is not a celebrity compound hiding behind manicured hedges or mirrored glass. It is an expansive 77-acre property where open land, woodland edges, and the slow rhythm of the countryside shape the atmosphere long before the house comes into view. The driveway begins as a simple gravel path, curving through wide fields touched by wind and afternoon light. There are no grand pillars or performative entrances. The landscape itself does the introduction. Tall grasses, scattered trees, and the quiet openness that Tennessee is known for. From a distance, the main house rises with a calm, traditional silhouette framed by porches, timber, and the airy warmth of a southern estate meant for living rather than displaying. The residence spans roughly 9,000 square feet, but the architecture never shouts. Instead, it leans into classic American design. Broad roof lines, clean symmetry, natural stone, and warm wood details that soften the structure against the land. Large windows pull in the outdoor light, casting long, gentle patterns across the floors throughout the day. The mood is comfortable, grounded, and unmistakably family-centered. Inside, the home balances practicality with understated luxury. Soft, neutral tones, spacious rooms, and the quiet presence of Tennessee craftsmanship create a sense of permanence. A 5-car garage sits discreetly to the side, more functional than flashy, built for daily use rather than decoration. Nearby, a guest unit provides privacy for visiting relatives and friends, extending the home's quiet hospitality. Beyond the walls, the property embraces the working spirit of a real farm. A tractor often rests near the field line, a reminder that this estate is lived in, not curated. In a photograph shared publicly, Pete sits atop that tractor with an expression halfway between amusement and pride, joking that he became a farmer today. It is a light-hearted moment, but also a truthful snapshot of the life he has built here. One where open land, physical work, and family rituals take precedence over studio lights and political noise. There are chickens roaming the property, a single horse kept near the back pasture, and long stretches of land where children can run freely without the limits of fences or neighbors. A swimming pool lies behind the home, bordered by stone and soft landscaping, offering a quiet place to cool down on humid Tennessee afternoons. In the evenings, the house glows with warm interior light, casting reflections across the water and blending into the darkening countryside. This farm is more than a residence. It is the physical expression of Pete Hegseth's chosen identity, traditional, patriotic, rooted in family, and intentionally separate from the turbulence of Washington. Every acre reinforces the same message. This is a life lived on his own terms, shaped by values rather than spectacle, built for purpose rather than appearance. Here, in the stillness of Tennessee, the public figure fades and the man remains. And when we step away from the slow rhythm of the Tennessee farm, the story leads us into a very different chapter of his life. A house in Baltimore where Pete once lived before moving south. House in Baltimore. Set on one of the most coveted streets in Guilford and overlooking the well-known Sherwood Gardens, this 7,300 square foot, 6-bedroom, 5-bathroom brick residence feels like a quiet chapter from Pete Hegseth's earlier life. A place he once called home and now keeps as a rental property, preserved with the same dignified charm it has always carried. The approach begins at a stone courtyard shaded by tall trees, where the home's red brick facade, slate roof, and symmetrical dormer windows rise with the timeless confidence of East Coast architecture. There is nothing flashy here, just the settled elegance of a house built to last, with white-trimmed windows glowing warmly at dusk. Through the front door, the entrance opens into a bright foyer, where polished wood floors and curated artwork set the tone. Light pools softly from the staircase above, bending along the curved banister that sweeps upward with a sculptural grace. It feels like stepping into a place shaped by tradition but refreshed for modern life. The living room is airy and calm, wrapped in soft neutrals and anchored by built-in shelving that stretches wall to wall. Wide windows fill the space with natural light, catching the textures of linen sofas, pale rugs, and smooth wood accents. Just beyond, the dining room shifts the mood. Dark, moody walls, a sleek fireplace, and brass lighting create an intimate atmosphere ideal for long dinners and quiet conversations. The kitchen, fully renovated, blends luxury with function. Marble countertops, top-tier appliances, and a long central island give the space a clean, contemporary energy. A sunroom sits at the far end, wrapped in windows on all sides. Cushioned bench seating curves along the walls, turning the room into a bright morning nook, a favorite spot for slow breakfasts or simply watching the garden come alive. Upstairs, the landing opens with generous space and soft daylight. The primary suite is serene and understated, with a fireplace, pale fabrics, and windows framing green treetops. Its bathroom extends the spa-like calm. A soaking tub beneath a window, marble-tiled floors, a glass shower, and double vanities lined with warm brass fixtures. Nearby, a beautifully designed walk-in closet offers floor-to-ceiling cabinetry in muted tones. Practical, elegant, and meticulously crafted. Other rooms include a quiet home gym with clean lines and bright walls, guest bedrooms softened with gentle lighting, and an office unlike any other in the house. Deep blue shelving, a wooden desk at the center, and warm light pooling across the ceiling. It feels contemplative, grounded, a room built for long working hours and sharp thinking. The finished basement opens into a relaxed entertainment room, designed for movie nights and gatherings. Soft carpeting, long couches, and a wide television create an inviting retreat that balances the home's more formal spaces upstairs. Outside, stone pathways, mature landscaping, and natural privacy complete the setting. Though Pete no longer lives here, the house still carries the calm, structured rhythm of a residence once shaped by family life. Quiet routines, and a deep appreciation for classic architecture. Today it stands as a beautifully updated rental property, a blend of historic Baltimore character and modern comfort, offering a warm sense of welcome to anyone who steps through its front door. And from this peaceful in Baltimore, the story shifts to the vehicles that have accompanied him through work, family, and life itself. Car collection. The large black Chevrolet Suburban came into his life during the years when his schedule rarely slowed. It became the vehicle he stepped into on days filled with meetings, briefings, and travel. The Suburban's tall frame, security features, and government-grade presence made it a natural choice for someone who often moves with an official convoy. Inside, the cabin feels calm and deliberate, with wide leather seats, deep storage spaces, and a quietness that lets him gather his thoughts before stepping into whatever the day demands. Today, its value sits around $65,000, and it remains the vehicle he trusts most on long, complicated days. Steady, silent, and built for the heavy responsibilities he carries. The Toyota Camry is a completely different story. Pete bought it years earlier during a quieter chapter, when he needed something simple, reliable, and unpretentious. The Camry became the car he used for everyday errands, school drop-offs, grocery runs, fast trips across town, the kind of driving that keeps a large family moving. Its soft seats, calm interior, and dependable ride made it perfect for the small tasks that hold family life together. Today, the Camry is worth about $10,000, but its value to Pete has never been measured in money. It is the car that has quietly carried years of conversations and late-night drives home after long workdays. These vehicles reflect who Pete is, a man balancing duty and home, public pressure and private calm. And from these practical companions on the road, we shift to the broader landscape of what he owns and how those assets frame his current lifestyle. Income and net worth. Pete Hegseth's money story does not begin with millions. It begins with the smallest, most forgettable paycheck of his early career, a modest salary from his first analyst job at Bear Stearns. The income was steady, but the work never touched the sense of purpose he was searching for. That early disappointment would later become the contrast that made his rise in media feel sharper, clearer, and fully earned. The real turning point arrived years later when television opened its doors. By the time Pete stepped into the studio lights at Fox News in 2014, he carried something viewers instinctively trusted: real deployments, real risk, real leadership. That authenticity is what transformed his earnings from ordinary to exceptional. His official financial disclosures, released during his cabinet confirmation period, make the picture unmistakable. In just the 2 years leading up to 2025, Pete earned $6,300,000 to $9 million. The anchor of that income was his Fox News contract, $4,602,340, paid for his work as a host and contributor. His annual salary sits at roughly $2 million, placing him among the network's top-tier anchors. This is the financial foundation behind his Tennessee farm lifestyle: the land, the space, the independence, and the freedom to step away from urban noise. Alongside broadcasting came a second income stream: public speaking. More than 40 events in 2 years brought in an additional $900,000, largely from patriotic gatherings, veteran forums, and conservative leadership conferences. These speeches reflect the same values that shape his life: service, faith, national identity, and they also add considerable weight to his income. Then there are the books. His publishing deals with HarperCollins paid $348,000 for The War on Warriors and $150,000 for Battle for the American Mind, plus another $100,000 to $1 million in combined royalties. Pete's books are not just political commentary. They form a steady financial pillar that grows quietly year after year. Beyond active income, Pete has also built a base of long-term investments. He holds $250,000 to $500,000 in Vanguard retirement accounts and owns several $100,000 in individual stocks. These assets do not define his daily life, but they secure the stability behind it: the freedom to choose a rural estate, raise children on open land, and live far away from Washington's pressure. When Donald Trump selected him as Secretary of Defense in late 2024, the federal salary, $246,400, was symbolic compared to his media earnings. That role represented something different: a return to service rather than financial gain. Every stream of income, from his television work to speeches, books, and long-term investments, has built the steady financial foundation behind the life he leads today. The stability he enjoys now is the result of years spent turning experience, discipline, and opportunity into a lasting sense of security. And from that stability, the story shifts to something more meaningful: the causes he supports and the good he chooses to give back. Philanthropy. Through organizations like Concerned Veterans for America and multiple national support groups, he has helped raise and direct more than $1,500,000 toward counseling services, transition programs, and financial assistance for military families. Another major focus of his giving has been education for children of service members. Pete has contributed more than $300,000 to scholarship funds, youth leadership camps, and school supply drives in military communities. Pete has also supported faith-based charities, donating over $200,000 to churches and community centers that provide food, housing support, and mentorship programs. These efforts reflect the same values he lives by at home: faith, structure, and lifting up the people around you. Disaster relief is another cause that carries weight for Pete. He has directed more than $250,000 to emergency response groups after hurricanes in the southern United States, helping rebuild damaged homes and supply essential goods to affected neighborhoods. Through all of these efforts, Pete's charity work mirrors the rhythm of his lifestyle: practical, steady, and rooted in strong values. And now, we step into his private world, where his values become daily habits and family shapes the rhythm of his days. Personal life. Today, Pete's world is shaped almost entirely by family. He and his wife, Jennifer Rauche, are raising a blended household of children: Rex, Boone, Gunnar, Gwen, and Jennifer's 3 older kids, all of them growing up on wide Tennessee land rather than inside a tight suburban street. The house is full, loud, and busy in a way that Pete often jokes is the kind of chaos you pray for. Most days begin the same: children running through the halls, chaos around the breakfast table, and the small routines that come with managing a large family. Pete leans heavily into the role of father, the kind who teaches discipline, faith, and responsibility more than leisure. In recent years, he has spoken openly about this shift, saying in a 2022 interview, "The only thing that truly matters is leading my kids to Jesus Christ. Teaching them sports or patriotism is wonderful, but it is never enough." That belief anchors the rhythm of his home life. On social media, especially on Facebook and Instagram, Pete often posts moments from the farm. Not polished photo shoots, but simple snapshots. The kids climbing onto the tractor with him, afternoons tending to the field, the dogs trailing behind, or a quiet moment where all the children crowd around the porch steps. These images show the version of himself he values most: a father surrounded by life, responsibility, and a lot of noise. Family traditions have become more important as the children grow older. Sundays are centered on church, faith lessons, and long hours spent at home together. The Tennessee farm gives them space to breathe, acres where the kids can run freely, ride bikes across gravel paths, and explore the woods behind the house without worrying about neighbors or crowds. Close friends often visit, many of them fellow veterans or longtime colleagues who understand the intensity of Pete's public life. These gatherings usually revolve around the children playing outside while the adults talk on the porch, catching up without pretense. For Pete, this blend of friendship and family creates a steady circle of support that makes the pressures of television and politics easier to carry. Recent months have been shaped by preparation for his new responsibilities in Washington. Yet even with the demands of national service returning, he continues to anchor his days in home routines. Bedtime talks with the children, shared family prayers, and the kind of structure that keeps every child feeling grounded. The world may know Pete for his voice, his politics, or his presence on television, but the most consistent part of his life happens far from all of that. It unfolds every day on his Tennessee farm, a place where faith is taught, values are lived, and family remains the clearest expression of who he is now. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Tell us which part of Pete Hegseth's life surprised you most, and let us know who you want us to explore next. Your support helps us bring more real human stories to the channel.